One of the biggest advantages of Interact is the interface capabilities of our products. Interact solutions are designed as very open systems that are very neutral and are based on standards as much as possible so that it is easy to integrate with them and it's easy to deploy them in all kinds of different environments in terms of hardware and operating systems. Any limitations in terms of integration are not going to be on Interact's side, but on the side of the third-party external product. Therefore, depending on what this third-party product can support, we can either have regular web services integration or we can have HR XML-based web services integration. Or we could use our APIs to speak to legacy applications APIs, or to connect directly through an ODBC connection to the database. So let's look at what the HR XML web services are like. Right here in my setup, I can select the HR XML domain elements that we will be using. HR XML defines a standard language that makes it easy for HR XML compliant systems to exchange information without having to define each time what this information contains. For example, the ability to check on employment eligibility can be done with a standard HR XML message. The same thing goes for enrollment and benefits or stock option exercise confirmations. All of these HR XML elements have detailed definitions which all HR XML compliant systems have in common. So what we do is we would set up a web service. You can set up an audit trail, you can use a public key for these web services, and you can define when to start and stop these web services when they can run. If you have your web services running, then the system will provide you with the number of requests, the number of responses, the number of clients who are currently using this, and you can see a detailed record of exactly what is happening. You can define any number of consumers on these web services, and of course, the right for them to connect has to be requested and finally granted and approved by somebody because obviously your two systems would be talking to each other from that moment on. Now, once you are actively using these web services, you will be able to track the client events and you will be able to track the requests and responses that come in. For example, on recruitment, if you're connecting to an external recruitment site or a job board, then you will have an audit trail of exactly which records have been loaded from that job board or have been sent to the job board and accepted. The whole idea about HR XML web services, again, is to have a standard language that is understood by two systems so that there's no need for customization in order for them to be able to communicate and exchange data. This data exchange can be done automatically without any manual intervention or the need for a person to actually request something because the systems can talk to each other autonomously. And support, we can either have regular web services integration or we can have HR XML based web services integration. Or we could use our APIs to speak to legacy applications APIs, or to connect directly through an ODBC connection to the database. So let's look at what the HRHML web services are like. Right here in my setup, I can select the HR XML domain elements that we will be using.